Live. So, this week in Mark of Athena. Hold on. You know what? Every time I do these streams, you think I'm prepared, but no. Still managed to not have my notes up yet again. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I apologize for that. Okay, so this week in Mark of Athena, I read 132 pages. I'm on. Hold on. Yep, I read 132 pages in 10 chapters. I know that there's people that could read this book in a single day. I'm not one of them. It's probably gonna take me, honestly, at the rate I'm going, probably a total of 5 weeks. This is my second week. But so here are some thoughts I have so far on the past few pages. So as I mentioned, so I'm on page 244 right now, and I read. So I went from page 113 to 244, which is 132 pages. Read 10 chapters. Anyway, so first things first. I finally. So on my last stream, I mentioned I mentioned that this horse, or I thought this horse was Aryan, Hazel's horse. The one that can run stupid fast. My dumbass forgot from the Lost Hero. Jason's horse that he's riding, the black one, is actually named Tempest. Somehow I forgot about that horse, so my bad. Anyway, so I managed to figure out. So this scene somewhat happens in the book, which I always love. I always love it when the cover displays an actual scene that happens in the book. So I don't want to spoil too much, but basically, Percy and Jason do have a fight. So in my last live stream, I mentioned, I'm like, oh, are Percy and Jason gonna fight because they're supposed to be on the same side or whatever. They actually do. Not against it was against their wills and whatnot. But so yeah, my bad. That's Tempest and Blackjack. So I was partially right on that one. Anyway, so Bacchus, so the Roman counterpart, because with Heroes of Olympus, you learn a lot of the Roman and Greek counterparts. So in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, it was mostly all Greek gods, but now you're getting introduced to some of the Roman gods. So Dionysus's counterpart, Roman counterpart, Bacchus, is mentioned. And what I kind of like about him is, so like Dionysus in Percy Jackson, the Olympians, his whole thing was he was always like calling people by their wrong names and stuff like that. Like that was his whole like stick. He was always making jokes about that. Like he'd call Percy Jackson Peter Johnston and stuff like that. In fact, that's actually in the show Percy Jackson, the Olympians on Disney Plus. But anyway, what I like is that humor, that type of humor translates from Dionysus over to Bacchus. Because like when he sees Jason Grace, he knows damn well his name is Jason Grace, but he still called him what was it? John Green. He called him John Green, so close enough. So I like that they kept that humor going. Another thing that happened in this past week in reading is, so they went to Atlanta. Okay, so I might live in Iowa now, but I grew up in Georgia. So when I found out that they were going to Atlanta, I got a little excited. Okay. Hold on. P. Oh my God. Some of these freaking comments, I swear to God. Anyway, so when I found that they were going to Atlanta, I got kind of excited because I'm like, oh, I grew up in Georgia. I lived like 45 minutes away from Atlanta. I've been to Atlanta many, many times. Hopefully, even though I haven't been there in probably like 12 years, I'm like, hopefully they mention some of the landmarks that I'm familiar with and whatnot. And then I start thinking, I'm like, ooh, you know what? They need to. I'm like, Rick Riordan would have a missed opportunity if he did not send them to Olympic Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, Olympic Park, as in where the 1996 Summer Olympics took place, as in the Olympics, the games that were originally created in Greece. I'm like, there needs to be like some kind of a battle at Olympic Park in Georgia. Okay, but spoilers, no, that didn't happen. I'm kind of mad, okay, because missed opportunity. It would have been too perfect, okay. Now they did end up going to what was it? the Atlanta Aquarium, and I've been there as a school trip, and it was fine. And yeah, it made more sense for the plot on what they had to go find. They had to go find salt water. You're not gonna find that at the Olympic Park, but still, I wish they'd figured out some way to go to Olympic Park, because that would have made too much damn sense. Said hi. August 27 said hi. Thank you. But yeah, so like I said, I've actually been to Atlanta many times. I've been to, I'm kind of showing my age with this one a little bit, but I've actually been to the Olympic Park in Atlanta, Georgia. In fact, I actually attended the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia, not as like a contestant or anything. Obviously, I think I was like 11 or 12 at the time. But anyway, so I actually got to go watch one of the games at Olympic Park in Georgia. And of all the games that I could have gotten tickets to go to, I got to go to a freaking baseball game at the Olympics, okay? I'm like, you know what, the Olympics, they have so many different sports that I have never gotten to see before, ice skating and gymnastics, swimming, canoeing, stuff like that. I'm like, I wanted to see like one of those, but no, what did I see? The type of sport I've seen hundreds of times before, baseball. I'm like, I've seen baseball before. And the two teams that were playing, neither one of them were even America. It was Nicaragua and some other, I don't remember what the other country was. So I'm like, I saw a baseball game between two countries up until that point, I never even heard of. So I'm a little mad, but hey, at least I got to go see an Olympic game long time ago, even if it was baseball. Anyway, so another thing, so I don't know if this is just something I'd missed from a previous book. So I have a hard time pronouncing her name, so please forgive me on this one. But Clarice, daughter of Ares. I don't know if her name had never been mentioned up until this point, or if this is my first time noticing it. Like maybe it was mentioned in a previous book, but I finally figured out what her last name was. I don't know if it had been mentioned before, but LaRue. Her name is Claire. I hate pronouncing her name. I hate this character. She's such a B word. But I also have a hard time pronouncing her name, Clarice LaRue. I did not know her last name was LaRue, so now I know that now. Cool. Okay. Now, this is going to be a relatively short stream, unless people can keep the comments up for me to react to. Not that you're obligated to do that by any means, but I'm down to my last point, but that's fine. So, but this is also the biggest point I wanted to make during this stream. So, look, I've commended Rick Riordan on his ability to do research, okay? He does such a great job doing research, okay? Like, when I read The Last Olympian, the last book in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, I commended it. I was so, I don't know if this guy was originally from New York or anything like that, but I'm convinced that this guy either lived in New York, grew up in New York, or he at least spent a week in New York. With him, the way he was able to describe like intersections and this statue is located on like, I was convinced this guy had to have been to New York with the way he was able to map out and describe what New York City looked like. Okay, so in the Hoover Dam and stuff like that, all these locations that he talks about, I'm convinced that he actually goes to these locations and does his research. And at the point of the book I'm in now, he's talking about the Civil War. They're actually on their way to Fort Sumter, where the first battle of the Civil War took place. And he's talking about, they mentioned that generals that were there and different things and stuff like that. So this guy is a master of research. Okay, I give him that. However, I found one place where, in my opinion, he dropped the research ball, okay? Because he mentions, while Percy and them are at the Atlanta Aquarium, they find some telkines, I think it's pronounced. Those like dog creatures or something like that, but he finds that there's some telkines playing with, and I quote, Legos, as in the little building block toys, Legos, right? Here's the thing, and this might be just me unnecessarily nitpicking, but Legos is not a word, okay? The pluralization of Lego is Lego. There is like moose and moose. There's not moose and mooses or mises or anything like that. The pluralization of Lego is still Lego. So Legos is not a word. and it's always capital Lego, Lego. So for him to write out capital L, lowercase egos, that's not a word. Okay, so I'm like Rick Riordan, you are phenomenal research, but you dropped the ball. Like, come on, it was so easy to do your research on, if what the pluralization of Lego even is, if that's even a word. But anyway, Branson, what's up? So anyway, that's all the points I wanted to make during the stream. I'm gonna keep it rolling a little bit longer. I'm doing pretty good. Bit of a rough week. I didn't. So the first couple of days this week, I didn't get as much reading done as I wanted to. I tried to get at least 125 pages done a week, and I dropped the ball so many times, this week on not getting enough. So, so the past like 24 hours, I'm like, I gotta catch up. I gotta get at least 125 pages, and so I actually got 134. I think I said. Hold on. So 132. Well, close enough, but still. Greedo shot first. Yes, he did. I don't know where that came from, but yes, he did. I actually did at one point have, or wait, no. Hold on. I cannot. No. Han shot first. Don't you? Oh my! You screw. I just saw the shot first, and I got excited. I'm like, oh, someone who knows right. No, you're actually wrong. You can't. I cannot believe you got me to say that. Greedo did not shoot first. Han shot first. Okay. I actually used to have a T-shirt that actually said Han shot first on it. Okay, and so yeah, we're talking about Star Wars now, but whatever. Please shout out my sister. Her name. I'm not reading that. I'm sorry. I've learned to, before I read a comment out loud, to read it ahead of time, because some of y'all are trying to make me say nope. Anyway, Rocky Balboa beat Ivan Drago. Yeah, he did. I don't think there's any debating that. And what was it? Apollo Creed got his ass royally handed to him by Ivan Drago. In fact, he died. And then, I don't know if y'all knew this. It took me I found this out a couple of years ago, but it took me way too long to figure this one out. But I think his name is Carl Winters or something. Either way, whatever his name is. So the actor that played Apollo Creed also played Chubbs in Happy Gilmore. I didn't know that until like a couple of years ago. It was freaking awesome. Is that my book? This? No. Well, so it's my book. Like it's the book I'm reading right now. But no, I didn't write this. I wrote. I wrote these. These are my books. And my fourth and final one is coming out probably early next year. I don't. It's up to my publisher to decide when it's going to release. But if I had to make a prediction, probably April, May 2026, more than likely. Anyway, Adonis Creed. Is Adonis Creed, is that like his son or something like that? Because I know that they had like Rocky 5 or 6 or something like that, and then they had like Creed, and he has a son at some point. I kind of watched it a little bit, but so Adonis Creed. Okay, I didn't know if that was his son. I couldn't remember. I watched some of the movie. I'm like, I don't care. Click. Moved on. So you think Adonis would have won against Ivan Drago? Why is that? Well, because he was trained by Rocky, right? Probably. So this just seems to be how my streams go. Like I have these weekly update videos talking about like how my thoughts on whatever book I'm reading, and I talk about that for like 10 minutes, run out of points to make, and now I'm just reacting to comments, and they go off onto Star Wars and what was it, Rocky and stuff like that. But hey, that's okay. Moving this off to over here. Actually, now that done with this, I can finally put my bookmark back where it belongs. So I don't have to bother memorizing what page I was on anymore. There we go. And I can go ahead and move you. See, whenever I finish a book, I always put it on my little bookshelf back here for display. And then whatever book I finish after that replaces that one. Anyway, but here's the thing. Adonis doesn't have the feats or anything that Ivan did do before. Okay. For instance, says hi. So yeah, something I was thinking about earlier today. So in my last stream, a lot of people were asking about all my stuff hanging behind me. And it got me thinking, what I might do is record a video, not do it as a live stream, like actually a nice edited video. But I'm thinking about essentially doing a studio tour, because that's where I'm at. This is my studio. But showing like all the different pictures and where they came from, because actually these, the Lord of the Rings pictures, are actually painted onto old pages from the different Lord of the Ring and Hobbit books, and I think that's pretty cool. And I want to take them out of the frame and show you that they're actually painted onto pages from the book. So, and then talk about like where I got my shield and my newest edition. If anyone's familiar with TX2, I went to a TX2 concert on Sunday. They're like a new age Green Day. They're up and coming, but yeah. Oh my God, your eyes look just like my dad's. Where are you from? So I'm originally from Georgia. I guess I grew up about 45 minutes from Atlanta. I have Italian heritage, though. I've never been to Italy, but yeah. So I grew up in Georgia. I live in Iowa now. Pretty much done moving, but yeah. I don't really consider manga a book or a comic. How about you? I mean, I'm indifferent. You know what? Honestly, at this point, if anyone's reading anything, I'm happy for them, because, you know, yeah, there are people who read books, don't get me wrong, but it feels like there's less and less people reading books every single day. So if you're reading anything, whether it's a comic or a manga or a graphic novel or whatever, hey, I'm happy for you. You know, I'll count it as reading. I'll take it wherever I can get, you know. So yeah, nothing against people who read graphic novels or whatever, you know. I'm not gonna knock it. I mean, hell, even you know, if you consume books through Audible, you know, hey, you do you. I try to not judge people too much. Whatever makes you happy. If you're not hurting anyone, do whatever makes you happy. I can tell you not to. Well, you can ask your opinion on something? Yeah, go for it. Why does my boyfriend sit down air smell strange? I don't know. I don't even think I understand the question. I don't even understand the question. I apologize. But yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, I was thinking about doing a video, you know, basically doing a studio tour showing my stuff, because also, like, over here I got my map wall, I got another little table with my anxiety plushie and all different things. So I've been meaning to do that because I got all kinds of different stuff back here. So anyway, I might just go ahead and end this stream, because not that I mind going off on tangents or whatever. My freaking cat just scared the crap out of me. I don't know if y'all heard that. Oh, okay. So sit down air is when somebody sits down and there's a slight draft of air and it smells strange. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I've never heard of that. Hey, Majora. You want to come up here and keep the stream going? I try to keep the stream going, but I also don't like having just nothingness. So anything to keep the stream going here. My cat Majora. Oh, after Majora's Mask. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. All right, fine, by you. Anyway, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I mean, I wasn't expecting this one to be super long. Hell, it's already gone longer than I expected. But yeah, I don't like being one of those streamers who just kind of like sits there and is like doesn't do anything. I try to keep, the conversation going. I try to keep talking, and as soon as I run out of things to talk about, that's when I'm like, I gotta end the stream. But yeah, I love cats too. Way better than dogs, in my opinion. Don't shoot me. But yeah, love cats. Cats are awesome. And I've not yet met a cat that didn't like me. Like I'd go over to like friends' houses, and like one of their cats would like come on and they're like, oh, that cat there, he doesn't really like people. He likes, the family members and whatever. And then he'll sit down next to me and I'll be petting him. And I'm like, apparently he likes me too. I don't know. I've not met a cat that didn't like me. So cats are awesome. Freaking love them. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. I made my points for Mark of Athena. Hopefully, I can get another at least 125 pages or more, because at the rate I'm going, I'd like to have this done by the end of August, but at the rate I'm going, probably not going to happen. Because I need to have, my plan is to have this done by the end of August, like I said. And then was it House of Hades that's next. I want that to be done by September, which is just as long as this. So getting that done in a month as well is going to be... Anyway, point I'm getting at, in October, I mentioned this in the last stream. I'm going to mention it again because, why not? In October, I'm actually going to take a slight break from Heroes of Olympus to start reading some horror classics because, it's October. Makes sense. So I'm going to read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and then I'm either going to read Dracula or Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or Bram Stoker's Dracula, depending on which way, subscribers vote. But yeah, in order to make that happen, I need to finish this by August, and I need to have the next book finished by the end of September. It's going to be hard. I like reading, but I'm not a very fast reader. And like I've said many times before, I know there's people that could read this in a single day. I'm definitely not one of them. I'm going to struggle to get this done in a month, so hopefully. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream because I've got nothing else to really talk about. But everyone who came, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'll be doing another stream next Friday about this time, talking about the next 125, hopefully, pages that I've read in Mark of Athena. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching.